A top surgeon died from exhaustion right there on the operating table. Days later, he woke up in the body of a brain-dead patient named Jin Yong-soo. But this world was completely different from the one he used to live. His gender was listed as something weird called out. To avoid blowing his cover, he had to pretend he lost his memory. Then he naturally got the original owner's basic info and an intro to this world from the doctor. When he arrived at the address given standing in front of the mansion, Jin Yong-soo couldn't help but think the original owner was loaded. What shocked him even more was that a gorgeous young guy opened the door. And this young guy looked a lot like one of his former patients. But the next second, the young guy dropped to his knees and reached out to take off his shoes. Jiang Yinshu jumped back, wondering what kind of old-fashioned ritual this was. He quickly helped the guy up and gestured that he'd do it himself. The rejected young guy stood there looking lost. Jiang Yinshu looked gently at the nervous young guy. I lost my memory and don't remember much. Can you tell me your name and what our relationship is? The young guy's eyes filled with panic, and his voice shook bad. Sir, I'm your partner. My name is Bai Tang, and I'm 21. Jiang Yinshu looked totally shocked. Bai Tang in front of him was so thin he didn't look like an adult, and his whole body seemed sickly. Are you sick with something? But Bai Tang reacted strongly, insisting he wasn't sick and that he was clean. Jiang Yinshu found this phrasing odd. Even if you're not sick, you don't need to say you're clean. Before he could think more about it, sounds came from the kitchen. While being helpful, he asked Bai Tang if he needed help. But Bai Tang rejected him without hesitation. Because Tom distant polite. From this, Jiang Yinshu figured the original owner and Bai Tang didn't have much of a relationship. This actually worked out for him, since he had no experience being with someone. While Bai Tang cooked, he decided to look around his own house. From all the designer awards in the bedroom, the original owner was clearly talented. But when he saw various toys hanging in the closet, Jiang Yinshu frowned. Just then Bai Tang came in to call him down for dinner. He said okay and casually closed the closet door. But he didn't notice that Bai Tang's face went even paler after seeing the closet. At the dinner table, Jiang Yinshu stared at all the meat dishes. And weirdly, Bai Tang set up a small table in the corner instead of eating with it. Food was the opposite, just plain boiled vegetables. She thought that no matter how bad their relationship was, there's no reason not to let someone eat at the table. So he told Bai Tang to come eat with him. But Bai Tang got scared and kept shaking his head, insisting he couldn't eat meat. She figured he must be vegetarian. So he gave up and put a piece of meat in his mouth. It was so salty he almost spit it out, but thinking Bai Tang worked hard to make it, he didn't want to seem picky, so he kept eating like nothing was wrong. By the end of the meal, he felt like a water buffalo. Bai Tang looked at the nearly empty dishes puzzled. This was the first time Sir had eaten his food so complete. After dinner, Jiang Yinshu wanted to help with dishes, but Bai Tang refused again. And Bai Tang told him he'd already drawn a bath. Jiang Yinshu was quiet for a moment, then thanked and told Bai Tang he could do these things himself from now on. In the bathroom, Jiang Yinshu checked out his new body. This physique was definitely nice, solid muscles, showing real strength. In comparison, Bai Tang standing next to him looked like a kid who never grew up, his calves thinner than his arms. From their interactions, Bai Tang seemed really guarded around the original owner. But to understand why, he'd need to figure it out slowly. After his bath, walking to the bedroom, what he saw made him lose it again. Bai Tang was making a bed on the floor. Jiang Yinshu thought this was ridiculous. Who makes their partner sleep on the floor? Plus Bai Tang's body was so weak, he'd definitely get sick like this. He pulled Bai Tang up from the floor bed. You sleep in the bed. I'm not used to sharing, so I'll sleep on the couch tonight. After saying that, he took his pillow and left the room, but Bai Tang's face looked even more worried. In the middle of the night, a slippery hand crept up Jiang Yinshu's leg. Jiang Yinshu woke up startled and sat up fast. Bai Tang was leaning against him with his shirt half open, his intention obvious. Jiang Yinshu freaked out, quickly pushed him away and stood up. Bai Tang looked confused at Jiang Yinshu. This was the first time Sir had rejected her. Jiang Yinshu stood there stiffly, remembering Bai Tang was an Omega now, so this kind of thing was normal. To avoid hurting Bai Tang's feelings, he made an excuse about just getting out of the hospital and not being Maybe it was his imagination, but he felt like Bai Tang seemed relieved after hearing that. After watching Bai Tang go back to his room, Jiang Yinshu lay back on the couch but couldn't sleep anymore. Their relationship seemed way more complicated than he thought. After learning about Bai Tang's dark past, Jiang Yinshu decided to set him free. At dawn, Jiang Yinshu got up from the couch with dark circles under his eyes. After drinking coffee to wake up, he went into the kitchen. Soon he heard footsteps upstairs and looked up. Bai Tang was coming downstairs still sleeping. The young guy's hair was messy and sticking up, and he looked more relaxed and innocent than ever. He smiled and greeted Bai Tang, who got totally startled. He quickly pulled himself together and went back to being tense, formal and timid. So Jiang Yinshu sighed inside and turned back to washing rice. But the next second Bai Tang rushed over to him, politely but fearfully asked him to go rest in the room. Jiang Yinshu didn't want Bai Tang to be so nervous, so he put down the pot. But before leaving, he mentioned not to put so much salt in the porridge. The porridge was still really salty after drinking a million glasses of water. Jiang Yinshu couldn't help asking, don't you think the porridge is salty? Bai Tang studied Yinshu's expression and carefully shook his head. He didn't get why Sir was asking this. Didn't he love salty food? So Jiang Yinshu didn't want to say more, since everyone has their own way of living. After breakfast, he started cleaning the guest room, with Bai Tang following behind wanting to help. But he didn't want the little Omega working so hard, so he insisted he go rest. Bai Tang watched Jiang Yinshu's busy figure, and a chill crept up his spine. Was this Sir's new test for him? What punishment would he get if he answered wrong? He nervously went to wash dishes in the kitchen, thinking about how to pass this new test. So when Jiang Yinshu called him several times, he didn't hear. Until Han suddenly landed on his shoulder. Bai Tang, do we have clean sheets? Bai Tang got so scared he stepped back and the plate slipped from his hands and shattered on the floor. He lost his balance and fell, with blood immediately seeping from his fingers and knees. Jiang Yingshu ran to Bai Tang's side and reached out to help him up. But Bai Tang suddenly wrapped his arms around his head, curled into a tiny ball, and kept repeating in a shaky voice, "Sir, please don't hit me. I was wrong, sir, I was wrong." This scene made Jiang Yingshu freeze in place, with bone-deep coldness spreading from his feet to his head. He finally understood why Bai Tang didn't dare eat at the table, didn't dare eat meat while he slept on the floor, why he seemed relieved when told he didn't need to serve, and about that closet full of toys. It was all because he'd been getting hurt by the original. Jiang Yingshu was furious, his fist clenched so tight his knuckles went white. He never thought he'd be reborn in such a monstrous body. But right now he needed to treat Bai Tang's wounds first. He forced himself to calm down and carefully explain, "I wasn't trying to hit you just now, I was trying to hold you." Bai Tang nodded shakily because he knew that being obedient meant getting hit the least. Jiang Yingshu carried the tense young guy to the living room. He got the medical kit and methodically treated Bai Tang's wounds. He used to be a top oncology surgeon, so this injury was nothing to him. But good technique didn't mean no pain, Bai Tang hissed. His pheromones leaked out uncontrollably. Jiang Yingshu's eyes went wide. What was this smell? He felt his body getting restless, and his head spinning. Was this what the manual called pheromone attraction? Well, he fought through the discomfort to keep treating Bai Tang's wounds, and after getting him settled, he rushed to the bathroom for a cold shower. Coming out of the bathroom, he was still shaken. He never expected pheromones to have such a strong effect. Just staying conscious took all his energy. Bai Tang sat restlessly in the room. He didn't understand why Sir was holding back. The old Sir never cared if he lived or died. When the door opened, he thought Sir was coming to punish him. But when the person came in, he realized Sir had taken a cold shower. But he didn't dare guess Sir's thoughts, just kept apologizing, saying he shouldn't have released pheromones. Jiang Yingshu replied gently, "It's not your fault, don't be scared." Then he brought up divorce. In his mind, Bai Tang had suffered too much in this marriage, maybe divorce was what he wanted. But unexpectedly, Bai Tang dropped to his knees, grabbing his pencils and crying, "Please don't divorce me, I'll do whatever you say." The man spent a fortune building a cage, but what he locked up was his own. Jiang Yingshu was startled by Bai Tang kneeling and crying, so he quickly helped Bai Tang up and made him sit down. Though confused to avoid upsetting Bai Tang more, he quickly agreed not to divorce. After that kneeling, Bai Tang's hand and leg wounds opened up again. Jiang Yingshu knelt down to rebandage Bai Tang's wounds, thinking that since Bai Tang didn't want divorce, he'd take good care of him from now on. Because Bai Tang looked like one of his former patients. Bai Tang didn't know Jiang Yingshu's real thoughts to him. The Alpha's supposed memory loss was just a new game. Because Sir still threatened him with divorce like before. At first when Sir beat him, he'd try to run, but whenever he ran, Sir would mention divorce. Then he'd obediently kneel and ask Sir to hit him. Because divorce was scarier than getting beat. I should have just mentioned divorce again, and seeing that even with memory loss, he still begged not to divorce. Sir must be really pleased. Since the Alpha was faking memory loss, he had to be extra careful not to make mistakes in the coming days, so it wouldn't become another excuse for the Alpha to hurt him. So when Bai Tang was seated at the dinner table, and saw Jiang Yingshu putting meat in his bowl, he immediately said he didn't eat meat. He couldn't give Sir any ammunition. Jiang Yingshu knew it wasn't that Bai Tang didn't want to eat it, but because the original owner wouldn't let him. But he couldn't change too much all at once, which would definitely make Bai Tang more anxious and scared. He could only make changes slowly, gradually getting Bai Tang to let his guard down and trust him. He stopped putting meat in Bai Tang's bowl and let him serve himself. And predictably, Tang only took vegetable. That evening, Jiang Yingshu told Bai Tang not to shower because his wounds couldn't get wet. But Bai Tang insisted on washing. Sir had said before that not being clean meant getting beat. Seeing he couldn't convince him, Jiang Yingshu offered to help Bai Tang wash. The doctor bodies were just cells too. He had no idea his suggestion triggered Bai Tang's painful moment, thinking about how he'd almost been drowned by the Alpha in the bathtub. Bai Tang stepped back in fear, saying frantically he could wash himself. Jiang Yingshu reminded himself again to take it slow. After helping Bai Tang steady himself, he left. Bai Tang couldn't believe the Alpha's retreating figure. Why was he being so reasonable today? Jiang Yingshu went to the bedroom and packed all the various toys from the closet into a box. Looking at the bloodstains on one of the whips, he wanted to kill Jiang. How could that monster hurt such a young kid? Why wouldn't Bai Tang agree to divorce? Confused, he posted online looking for answers, and learned how twisted this new world was. With divorced Omegas got sent to collective breeding facilities. That place was scary just thinking about. Jiang Yingshu punched the wall hard. He was angry that Omegas in this world were treated so bad, and it made him even more determined to protect Bai Tang.